Warning, this show contains naughty language, adult themes, and may contain mentions of Scientology. Listener discretion is advised. The church is not affiliated with or endorses this show in any way. If you are involved with the church, we would love to hear from you.
It's like being at home and having a radio on and having a movie, an old movie playing in the background.
I love that shit.
Oh my god, you have invisible weed!
No, you're playing with an empty fucking half gram, motherfucker.
My mind was blown. The one thing you don't do, like if you do anything in the public, you don't go to Reddit, you don't read your comments. I have read everything.
The man on the cross. There was no Christ.
Welcome to Monkey Goo and Other Delights, episode 2. What is this show about? This show is 3 friends. I have myself. I have Paul. I have a gentleman that I worked with at the Church of Scientology. We didn't
call him Tom Cruise because he's just fucking cool.
Hi, everybody.
What's up, Tom?
We didn't really get into this the last episode. Not really the goal of this show is to talk about Scientology, but you got to understand there is some history between me and this gentleman sitting across from me. His name, he is going to go by Tom Cruise.
My
now,
name's Tom Cruise.
I do have to point out, it is not Cruise like the Vanilla Sky actor. It is Cruise like
fucking Terry Crews, dude.
Exactly, Crews. So
straight up Terry Crews,
so
man. This is a big motherfucker sitting next to me.
So,
hi, everybody.
He's a big fucker.
If the real Tom Cruise can not sue me, that would be awesome.
Fuck Tom Cruise.
All right, so we are here.
He's a pussy.
Tom Cruise is a pussy. Fuck Tom Cruise. I'm kind of a prick. I don't know if you guys, if you haven't figured that out yet, you'll figure out eventually. Run with it. Run with it, Trev. I'm here to back you up, bro.
All right, so once again, Monkey is not here.
Fuck that bitch.
Huh?
Where the fuck is he, man? I'm getting tired of this shit.
Dude, this is
He's supposed to be writing this shit. We're sitting here with our
role.
dicks in our hands, man. This is some bullshit.
Why do you have your dick in your hand?
Well, we're talking about Scientology today, dude. We fucked up the last time.
What is this? No, we didn't.
I'm blowing the bowl. I'm putting some Moxie on top. I got some bitchin' ass blueberry muffin, live resin batter. I'm gonna top my bowl with this shit. And this shit, this one bowl right here, look at this. Look at this shit. I want you to sniff that. Sniff that. Smell that. Smell this.
Good.
Smell this. Live resin batter.
Smells good.
Blueberry muffin Moxie. I'll take one bowl and I will top it with a generous coating of batter, shadow, sauce, baby. I will do it. I'll melt that bitch down real good, not on top, right on top, without even hitting it. I'll just melt it. Just tap it with the lighter. Watch it melt slowly. You gotta be patient. It's actually the best part of the process. It's kind of like a ceremony, if you will. You just kind of like do this shit. It melts down. Now this bowl right here, this bowl will last one person for at least an hour and a half of playing Red Dead Redemption 2. You just tap the corner. Tap the corner and burn it slowly from one end to the other. And every time you're done, make sure you cap it, put it out, and go back to playing. Now, I'm going to show you this. I'm going to show you how it's done. Watch.
I have a question.
Look.
While you puff, I have a question. I've never played Red Dead Redemption 2. I played Red Dead Redemption 1, and I can only imagine that Red Dead Redemption 2 is an amazing video game.
It's fucking awesome, man.
The true test is, can I play Pac-Man on this? That's the true test,
You know what's funny? Is Pac-Man is actually on the NES throwback, which I have. And we can plug that shit in right now if you want, motherfucker. Let's get down with some Pac-Man, bitch. I challenge you. Challenge accepted. Okay, what are we talking? Let's get past the weed. Get past the scotch. What are we talking about tonight? What are we talking about?
It's not, no, motherfucker.
Alright, so Again, we just had to do an edit because I used gentleman's real fucking name.
Why do you need it? Oh,
So-
he needs that for his marking. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So-
his marking.
Tom Cruise, Crews,
Like Terry, because he's big.
for legal reasons.
Yeah.
What actually brought you into the Church of Scientology? How did you get involved?
I was walking down Hollywood Boulevard with my ex and a friend, and she saw the sign that said free personality test.
That's the Oxford Capacity Analysis. What they offer
Yeah.
pretty much everybody.
Right.
I've seen
Okay.
that
And
shit.
so
You walk by an org,
So,
the church, and they
you
hand
know,
you a flyer. You
we
take
were
the
just
test.
hanging out in Hollywood, just trying to find things to do. And she's like, fuck it, let's do this.
I did that with my girlfriend once.
So we walked in voluntarily to take the test. And we both take the test, and we both were found to have the same quote unquote problem with, people, which is communication with others. So,
Hold on one
Sorry.
motherfucker. Hitting
You
that
know
shit
what?
hard.
I'm going to leave that in. I'm going to leave it in. So here's the sound I warned you about. And that, my friends, is Moxie.
That's some good shit.
I think I'm getting secondhand hits over here.
My
Here you go.
apologies.
I love that shit. It's fucking awesome.
Don't blow it on me.
Enjoy,
I'm
motherfucker.
gonna work later. I don't want to.
I should close the door and hotbox this bitch.
We're good. All right.
I love having this shit on in the background. I think we need to always have
Fuck yeah.
old school movies playing
Yeah,
in the
for
background.
sure,
Are
dude.
we allowed to mention movies that are playing in the background as long as we don't hear
No,
them?
we're allowed to talk about whatever we want. The only thing we're not allowed to do is play unlicensed music.
Okay, dude,
all right,
because you know
so
what? I
again-
like the idea of it's like being at home and having a radio on and having a movie, an old movie that you know playing in the
I
background.
love that shit. Dude.
Yeah, but right now I've had Pulp Fiction playing this whole fucking time, dude. Ever since the beginning, and now we're looking at was it Tim Robbins? Is that what Tim?
Tim Roth.
Tim
They're
Roth,
good fucking
yeah.
Roth.
Tim Roth pointing his gun at Samuel L. Jackson in the diner, and he's just sitting there, and Samuel L. Jackson's looking like a bad motherfucker.
If any of you
Yeah, he's like-
motherfucking
With his
things
Jerry
will
Curl.
execute every motherfucking one of
And
you.
now he's like, "Don't worry,
Activated.
Ringo. I'll open it." He's opening up the case, and he's showing him Marcellus Wallace's soul.
It's the one that says bad motherfucker.
Yeah, and he just looks at it. He's seeing a
He's like,
soul. He's looking at a
"Oh,
pure soul. He's like, "Oh
shit."
shit, I'm dealing with some mystical shit here."
Right.
And now, yeah, it's over because Sam knows.
Or it
And
could
he's
be the
got his ass.
Constitution.
He's like, he's too busy looking at the soul. And Jules just gonna be like, "I'm gonna grab your gun, bitch." That's right. And puts his 45 right in his neck. Right in his fucking neck. And you ain't going nowhere. Where you gonna put your 38
Big
shot?
ass.
Tell that
Where you gonna
bitch
put
to
that
chill.
38 shot, motherfucker? You're
Alright.
going to the goddamn cushion. Okay, anyways.
All right, so
We're talking about Scientology?
I don't know. All right, so again, you
Ezekiel 17. No, what is it? Ezekiel.
the path
25,
of the
13.
righteous.
Something.
Ezekiel 25, something like 25, 13? I'm not sure. I need to check.
I remember when I was going to church, I actually
tonight. What
I
happens?
I looked it up and
I tried looking it up.
like-
I couldn't find it.
Tarantino kind of used the quote or the scripture or whatever, but he changed it a little bit.
That's what I found. That he didn't use it.
Tarantino's
exactly.
Tarantino's the kind of guy. He's a movie guy. He's gonna
He's
change
fucking
shit.
awesome.
Psalms
That's a great thing.
24 is
Well,
where
I
it's
don't
all
know if
I
about.
like Tarantino movies.
I don't know if I agree with it. But one thing I will say is Hollywood is known for it.
Yeah,
So you got to
Twisted
kind of
shit.
expect it.
that's true.
And Tarantino's Hollywood.
We're gonna get serious for a second.
Okay.
About what?
So, Mr. Cruz, I was on Reddit
Oui.
and
Motherfucker.
I want to read something to you. Oh, dude, I can't get on Reddit? What the fuck?
If I hit that shit, dude, I'm gonna fucking
All
die.
right,
And I'm going to throw another rock.
That's
Trev.
all right, so at this point in the show, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go to Reddit And
Oh, you're gonna read some of the questions?
yeah,
Oh, dude,
there
I
you
want to
go.
hear some of these,
So,
man. I've heard some shit, dude.
Mr. Tom Cruise,
Here we go.
CREWS, we're gonna answer some questions on Reddit.
Yes, let's do this.
All right, so we have Keeper Keys and Ram posted 8 hours ago.
Can you bring me some ice too, please?
What do you say?
Go ahead.
You want more ice?
Yes.
I'll let you
Go ahead.
No, we're good.
In here.
Just reach in the bag and you can grab it yourself. That way, like, I'm not grabbing your ice.
They're like making their drinks now.
Dude, hey, man, you can't have, like, 12-year-old scotch without fucking ice,
No,
man. Well, you
I
can
gotta
drink it neat.
say,
Actually,
like-
drinking neat is probably the most appropriate thing, but I like my scotch cool. I like it cold. So I could put it in the freezer or refrigerator, but I think that's just crude. I'd rather just throw a little rock in it, and a little rock. You know, not
You
a
mean
lot.
by ice?
Yeah, I mean
Yes.
ice.
Okay, fair enough.
Scotch on the rocks.
Now-
I don't mean
now-
crack,
Other
man.
questions.
I'm not talking about crack, mother.
All right, so come on back, Paul.
I'm picking my nose.
Pick a winner, brother.
What's up, brother?
All right. So Tom Cruise, CREWS. Paul.
What up, brother?
Tom Cruise has worked for Scientology. How long were you on staff?
I'd say about a year.
Okay. Really?
Yeah.
Because you were there before
I was there maybe for you.
And I was there for a year and a half.
So I guess I was there longer.
All right. So
Okay.
we feel we are somewhat
I'm sorry.
in a position to answer some questions on Reddit. Now, I don't know if
I'm not in any position. I'm just chilling and drinking and smoking
Well,
weed, motherfucker.
yeah, but you also have an opinion. So
I always have opinions about shit.
come closer to the mic.
Okay.
All right.
Just trying to
So
be crude to,
we
more
have-
crude than I already am.
we have gone to Reddit, and like I was warned to stay off of Reddit because of all the hate I'm probably gonna receive. And like the one thing you don't do, like if you do anything in the public, you don't go to Reddit. You don't read your comments. I have read everything they have typed about me on Reddit, and I have read every single one of my comments.
That's funny. 'Cause
I have
ain't read
responded
shit.
to every email that I have got on my truth
Have
on
you really?
Scientology.
You really
my
responded to all of them?
my truth on Scientology at hotmail.com. Also, my truth on Scientology at gmail.com. If you have a question, feel free to get a hold of me there, and I will answer it on a upcoming show. But since I haven't announced it yet, and this is our second show, we have a Reddit question from Keeper. What the fuck? Oh, Keeper of Keys and Ram. This was posted 8 hours ago. Keepers of Keys and Ram wants to know. He says, I never signed up for Scientology, but somehow got on their mailing list a couple of years ago. I receive magazines and other things every other week. How do I get off the list?
You are not getting off that list.
No,
I'll fucking tell you that.
I'm gonna say
My experience, you're not getting off that list.
you can absolutely get off the list.
I don't think you can.
I was one of the people who would mail you letters. I don't know if I ever mailed Keeper Keys and Ram, but I was told that if somebody from the public writes you a letter back telling you to fuck off or don't write me again, immediately you send them something else. The only time a Scientologist will stop emailing you or sending you mail is if you contact them and threaten legal action. If you threaten legal action,
Wow.
they will stop.
Just like anybody else, bitch.
We were trained that way. So, Keeper of Keys and Ram, what I would recommend is just write them a letter back, letting them know that you find that this is harassment, and that if it continues,
Approach it like a legal matter.
you will be contacting an attorney, and please do no longer contact me
Cease and
again.
desist, bitch.
Exactly. All right.
Cease and fucking desist. I like that. Let your balls dangle.
I try to keep them comfy.
Well, I like
Snug.
boxer briefs. That's how I roll. But I mean, sometimes you got to drop your dick in the butter. It happens. Motherfucker.
Why did you put the editing button?
I don't
Dude,
know. I said
dropping
drop-
your dick in
I've been
butter
saying
would
that for
would
years.
feel
I've been saying it
amazing.
for years. I've been saying it for so many years. It's like kind of one of the things that I say. I'm gonna drop my dick in the butter. Don't make me drop my dick in the butter. It's one of those things. Like I'll go to the party. I will walk right up to the table and I will drop my dick in the butter.
Here we go.
It's like the most badass thing you can do. It's like, dropping your dick in the butter is literally the most badass thing you can do. Imagine the dude that walks into the party, unzips his pants, just whips out his dick, and just drops it right on the butter and says, "What?"
All right, so
who don't like my dick in the butter?
I actually have a really good question here. Deleted.
Okay, what's the next question?
What's the next question? I'm sorry. I'm sorry about dropping my dick in the butter.
No, dude, if I could drop my dick in butter, I'm sure that would feel amazing. Like,
it's
dude,
actually incredibly lubricating.
The texture
really
of butter is great. But deleted user wants to know. Deleted user wants to know: is it true that Scientologists are often blackmailed, and that's what forces them to become ex-Scientologists? Tom Cruise, were you ever blackmailed?
No,
I was never really blackmailed. Like, the definition of blackmailed is like do this or I do this.
do this, right?
People are going to blackmail my ass. I'll shake that.
They are definitely very convincing. They are very manipulative. They are full of endless promises that go nowhere. So that's what really is what sucks you in. Especially they get you when, like, for instance, for myself with my ex, like, we were literally on a like pretty much homeless, living out of our car and stuff like that. And so when they start making all these empty promises, you're like, fuck, man, I need to do this. As a man, I'm like, I need to provide for my family, and this is going to help me. So so you start trying to do that.
And then eventually you begin to buy in.
But like I said, I gave them easily a year to try to prove it to me, and they just failed. Well, kind of like an idea that it's going to be hard to leave.
Why?
Because I experienced like other people trying to leave, like other friends and stuff that they were trying to leave, and it took months.
Was it fear or like why did you go through their process?
No, I didn't go through their process. That's the thing I'm trying to explain. Is I saw other friends that I met who were the same. Like, they were just people off the street, and they went in, they were working, and then they were like, I'm done, and I want to leave. And it took them good 4 months to leave. The whole process and everything of them getting them back into the church and getting them to route out, which is the term that they use to get you to leave. Route out. So you basically have to
routing out is like your steps to leave the organization or
and really
church.
What they're doing is they're trying to first off they're trying to convince you to stay, and then after they feel like they can't convince you to stay, then they start trying to make sure that you are not going to talk shit about them or go on like something like this and talk bad about them. That you are, then they actually have you sign a whole thing saying that you, basically, that you are leaving on your own free will, that you are leaving without, any negativity, that if you ever do speak out against them, that...
Do you have negativity?
Well, yes and no. Actually, yes, I do. I do have a lot of negativity, but there is a lot of positivity about. So it's kind of like half and half, like a 50-50.
I kind of understand, like, that there are some really good things that is like, dude, I'm going to follow this till the fucking day I die.
Yeah.
And then there's some shit that's like, dude, that's not right. And a lot of it is not the, for me personally, a lot of it is not the materials or the books or the idea of it. A lot of it is the interpretation from the Sea Org.
Exactly. So in the Sea Org, it's basically...
What is the Sea Org?
It's basically people who live and die the church. Like, they literally live there, and they 24 hours a day, they live and breathe the church. So let's say, like, I grew up Catholic, so they're basically like the nuns and the priests.
Okay.
They're the ones who have basically said, I'm going to sacrifice
my entire life
because whatever you are saying is the greatest thing I have ever experienced. You are 100% right, and this is what I want to do for a billion years.
Exactly.
I'm going to devote my entire life to this.
Not just your life,
my existence.
but every time you die and come back, that life too.
Holy
and,
shit!
and you're
That's a pretty big fucking demand,
and
motherfucker.
that's
Yeah.
for it's a
Exactly.
billion year.
Oh, eat a bowl of
contract.
dicks.
A
Eat a
billion
bowl
year
of fucking
contract.
dicks. Hell fucking no. That's a bad deal, dude. Anyone with basic economic skills or has ever tried to even sell a bag of weed knows it's a bad deal. It's a bad fucking deal, dude.
Not for everybody. Some people really,
A billion
really
years?
buy into
Fuck
it.
that
Some
noise,
people
dude.
really buy
Bullshit.
into it.
Exactly.
I want to
But-
fly as a free spirit and like
Dude.
bang with other free spirits in the cosmos.
You-
Y'all can eat a bowl
I'm
of
just
dicks.
One
saying,
thing I learned is
The candy they're selling looks delicious.
Every
It
cult's
is. It
candy
does.
is
Especially-
the punch is always sweet, baby. The punch is
I
always sweet.
guarantee you, if we would have walked in there and we would have been doing just fine, we would not have bought into this shit. But because we were hurting so bad for money, and I actually saw a little sign that they had that they were
was the
hiring.
picture. That's how they got you, dude.
That they were
I'm gonna get to
hiring.
that.
That's how they got you.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna get to that.
So
they
they had a
got
little
you.
sign that said they were
Reddit
hiring.
got to that.
And so I was like, "Oh, hey, you guys are hiring, dude. I'm looking for a job. You know, how do I sign up?" So they referred me to one of their, what are they called again? The guys that recruiters. One of the recruiters.
Body routers.
No, a recruiter.
Okay, go ahead.
So the recruiter calls me and
We
he's
need
like,
food.
"No, body router." He said.
I get that.
It's not called We Need Food. It's called Body Router
Body router.
or
So-
Recruiter.
Motherfucker.
So I get a call from a recruiter. I completely thought I was going to an interview, like any other job. I go and I sit down with this guy, and he has like 3 other people with him that are also recruiters. And now that I think back about it, they never like answered a single question directly. Every question I asked them, so how much money am I gonna make? Dude, bro, don't worry about it. You're gonna make so much money.
You're gonna make what you put in.
Yeah, you can, support your family. I'm like, dude, I need to take care of my family. I really need to make good money.
What is the
But every time I try to ask a question like that, they were so good and manipulative of just getting away from that question and just making you really feel like you are going to make more than enough money to support your family. You're going to be really good. You're going to be in a really good position. So don't worry about it. So it made me back off from asking them exactly how much I was going to make, because they were so convincing and again, I was really hurting at the time, so I was very vulnerable and easy to convince that I was going to make exactly what I needed to do to get my family out of living in a car or whatever, living hotel to hotel. So
That's very
I
similar to
bought
my
into
story.
it.
Yeah, and it's also I understand that too. That time period was very interesting for many people, and I think a lot of people during that time can relate. Charlie even said that, and it's kind of the way that you were brought in. I didn't end up being brought into the church. That time period for me wasn't too great either, but that's not what we're talking about today. What we're talking about today is Scientology. So, what can you guys tell me, Trevor? What were your experiences, man? I mean, you've become something of a phenomenon.
Not really.
Recently. Dude.
No, I mean, I am just the recent guy who held up his hand and said, I'll talk. And honestly, if more people would do that, I would just say more people would go into this church with their eyes a little bit more open.
Trevor, these people try to slash your fucking tires, man.
Again, I can't talk about something I can't
What do you mean
prove.
you can't talk about something you can't prove, man? These motherfuckers came to your house. They slashed your fucking tires. They fucking harassed you and your family.
All right.
Dude,
Stop
man,
there.
seriously.
Stop there. What I'm going to say is the church is a very litigious group, and there are certain claims that I will not make yet. I will make some claims that I can prove. I will not talk about things that are like hearsay or I cannot
I don't
prove.
know what the fuck litigious means, man. But
It means
I tell
like
you that,
if you get it
fuck
wrong,
those
they will
motherfuckers.
sue
That's all I
you.
gotta say.
So like
If you
there
get it
are
wrong-
certain areas
Really?
that
They get it wrong, they'll sue you?
that I have to be very
But
careful.
the balls come slash your fucking tires?
I have to be very careful.
Dude, I say
on
cut those
subjects.
motherfuckers, man.
Now it is your opinion that they slash tires. It is my opinion that it is a coincidence.
You know what?
Or
I love
possibly
you, man.
a coincidence.
I love you, man. I'm gonna accept that. I'm not gonna fuck with you. I think
Now,
you're being a bit of a dick,
so far,
but I'm gonna let you get away with it.
so far,
Whatever.
the church has been very polite.
Fuck that. They're not polite.
No.
They're assholes, man.
I'm gonna say like
brainwashing assholes, man.
I'm gonna say I have
I'll
heard.
say it, dude. I don't give a fuck.
I have heard a lot of horror
Come to my
stories
house and
about
fuck
members
that.
who try to leave the church and they're followed and they're fucking like harassed and all like I mean I'm gonna say like I have had a few cars slow down in front of me. I've had a few people look at me weird, but I like like when I was on the Ross and Carey show, their response was very polite. So I'm gonna follow that and keep it polite with the church. All I can tell is my truth and some of the shit that I find out on the internet. Now I will differentiate the two of my experience and what I found on the internet because those are two completely different things. I will say that shit I found on the internet is fucking crazy.
Like what? Example.
I remember going into Scientology and I was like, I was a Christian, and they're like, dude, that's totally cool. We love Jesus. But I also have a recording of L. Ron Hubbard himself saying that Christ is not real, that he's just a projection that man puts on himself to feel better.
Every man is then shown to have been crucified, so don't think that it's an accident that this crucifixion, they found out that this applied. Somebody, somewhere on this planet, back about 600 BC, found some pieces of R6. And I don't know how they found it, either by watching Mad Men or something, but since that time they have used it, and it became what is known as Christianity. The man on the cross. There was no Christ, but the man on the cross is shown as every man. So, of course, each person seeing a crucified man has an immediate feeling of sympathy for this man. Therefore, you get many PCs who says they're Christ. Now, there's two reasons for that. One is the Roman Empire was prone to crucify people. So a person can have been crucified. But in R6, he is shown as crucified.
Well, they talk about Christ consciousness.
And that
Jesus
if you
Christ's name wasn't exactly Jesus Christ.
Oh, Yahweh.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't Yahweh.
No, it wasn't Yahweh. I heard
Jehovah.
Jesus.
No. We're gonna have to come back to that. We're too drunk to be able to access it.
Yeah, so
And I
let's
know
stick
where
to the
look, but I can't find it
Scientology.
now. Let's stick to
We keep
Scientology
jumping
now.
off Scientology.
Motherfucker.
You know I'm keeping that in.
You can put it in, but I'll be still telling you, motherfucker. We got a bottle of 12-year-old scotch.
No,
that
we
is
don't. It's
fucking
empty.
gone.
Oh,
And this
okay.
shit is
Damn.
gone. We killed this
Nice.
shit. I think we. You know what?
All right.
I love you guys. I love you guys.
Oh my God, that's what
I like
Scotch
him more
does
than I
to
like you. You know, don't you like it? Isn't it
That's
better?
good. It's good
Isn't
Scotch.
it better than what beer does to me?
You're
Beer
like
is
a
not
fucking
nice.
asshole. He's like, oh, fuck yourself on beer.
No, beer. I'll take 2 bottles and crack them over your head and then stab your girlfriend.
All right,
with
so
He doesn't have a girlfriend.
No, I'm talking about anybody.
all right, so
His right hand is his girlfriend.
This is I'm like, oh, it's gone. Yay.
It's gone.
Let's sip what's left and go have a cigarette and smoke a bowl with some Moxie on top.
all right, so what we're gonna do now is edit, and then we're gonna talk about Reddit some more. My other response to the Ross and Carey show was the title is "Dying to Talk About Trevor Heasley." Oh no, Ross and Carey interview.
Are you serious? Someone actually wrote that
Dude,
shit?
like, yeah. So
Wow.
They wrote, the interview with Trevor Heasley made me so unbelievably sad. He seemed like a nice enough guy, but that brainwashing is just so intense. I grew up in Scientology, but never bought in personally. But my mom and grandma and whole maternal side talk exactly like him.
What?
It makes it difficult to have a conversation. My mom even tried to leave, but still can't sort out what's real and what's LRH bullshit. The studying
So is this girl anti-Scientology?
No,
hold on.
she is
I'm sorry,
anti
neutral. Continue.
the way
Keep
I
reading,
talk.
keep reading.
All right, so the studying techniques they describe are torture when you're 8 years old and you just want some fucking homework help. I can understand, okay.
Yeah.
The reason there are nuggets of truth in LRH methods is because he stole from actual brilliant people, not because he's genius. Sorry for the rambling, but it was just so frustrating to listen to. Ross and Carrie are so patient and kind. Great episode. So,
okay, so hold on.
she
I'm a little
feels,
toasted here.
she feels I still sound like a Scientologist.
Well, that's
Okay.
because you sound analytical, and I get that because you sound like a robot. I've known you for years, and you're not funny. You're like you're like a robot, dude. And I get that. You're brilliant, brother. I'll give you that too. You're actually very intelligent. You're very brilliant, but you're just not very fucking funny. You sound like kind of a robot sometimes, and therefore people think you're fake. But you're not fake. You're just an asshole. And I think maybe I'm not 100% sure, but maybe just a little bit of a racist. I really don't know for sure.
Dude, I'm a humanist. I believe in quality for everybody. I don't care who you
a little
are.
bit racist, dude.
But I
think
also believe that some jokes are fucking funny.
I don't think he's racist. I mean, I'm a black man and he likes me.
Fair enough.
you are.
So Paca Loca on Reddit says that I sound like a Scientologist. Now, I do have to admit that there are times that I say, okay, good, and fair enough, and there are some phrases that I still use. But I'm working on it. Oh,
What's next, man?
That's a lot of fucking comments.
Dude,
But-
really? Are you that popular
You
now?
know what?
I can't believe it, dude. You're more popular than me.
All
Dude,
right, so-
I
Holy
make fun of
shit.
people
Hold on.
on stage with a microphone, and your dumbass is more... Wow.
So-
I'm in the wrong business. I need to be fucking with the Church of Scientology.
So evil scientist wrote Trevor Heasley's new YouTube channel where he plans to document his so
Try again. Come on, motherfucker.
That Moxie.
Give it a try.
and I'll probably keep it in.
Motherfucker.
So evil scientist says Trevor Heasley's new YouTube channel where he plans to document his departure from Scientology. All right, so the article is this. Trevor Heasley joined the Church of Scientology 2.5 years ago when a church official, actually it was a body router, offered him a job creating marketing materials for a local org. All right.
Okay.
While searching the internet for Scientology logos, he happened upon a podcast by two people who went undercover in the church.
This person seems to know you pretty well.
That would be Ross and Carrie. And eventually got kicked out and unofficially labeled suppressive. I would say at this point it's pretty official.
Unofficial.
I'd say it's pretty official.
Knowing he was defying church orders, Trevor listened, and not long after, he had left his job and his church.
That's a Scientologist right there.
No. That was
No.
that was actually from the
Ross and
Ono
Carrie show.
Ross and Carrie podcast.
Yeah, actually,
That was
But
a
it sounds
post
like a
on Facebook.
Scientologist wrote that.
No, that
Actually-
sounds like sounds like a journalist wrote that.
That
That's what
was
sounds like.
the synopsis that I believe
Yeah,
Ross and Carrie or their
a
producer
journalist
wrote.
wrote that, and it was comprehensive.
Now,
it was accurate.
One
Sure,
thing.
he's an asshole.
All right. Then he also wrote,
Sneaky
Trevor's
motherfucker.
channel is brand new and he needs support from positive, rational minds as the church will undoubtedly take issue with this.
Oh, they're totally gonna take
So,
issue with this.
do you-
That's why I love being part of it.
Do
What
you-
the fuck are they gonna do to me?
Do you
I hope someone
think
comes to my
the
house.
church is going to
Please
take
come to my fucking
a
house,
issue
motherfucker.
They
where
Give
will
me a
not go
reason.
to my house.
Give me
They
a
get shot by the
fucking reason.
fucking
dude.
neighborhood,
Get a
dude.
shotgun reception at my house, motherfucker. Come here. Watch what happens.
why would
Watch
they
what-
I live in the ghetto,
take
motherfucker.
issue when I'm accusing one of their members of taking pictures of my daughter in the
Man,
morning
dude,
and the
these
other
are
member
bitch-ass
of
motherfuckers
sexually
trying to
assaulting
brainwash
my
people.
mom and the abuse that goes on? I don't know
know,
why they
man.
would take issue with that.
Yeah, I take crazy issue with it.
All right.
Motherfuckers. I take crazy issue.
So on that one,
Motherfuckers.
Chigumleg wrote.
Chicken leg.
Chigumleg.
Chigum leg.
Chigumleg
What a
wrote.
fucking handle.
Chigumleg wrote. My very first job ever was a receptionist at the Church of Scientology. I only worked there for 2 weeks. Aww.
Oh.
Though, because when they gave me my paycheck, it was for something like $4.32 an hour for 2 weeks.
What the fuck is that?
A 40-hour... Dude, you only worked 40 hours per week? Like, we worked
That's
like,
a
what, 80
full-time
hours
job
a
at
week? Yeah.
Dude.
Wait, we practically lived there for like, dude.
40 hours
Paul,
a week. Full-time
Paul,
work.
Me and Tom worked for sometimes for like under $1 an hour.
Where is this at?
The Church of Scientology.
Are you shitting me?
Dude, I would work 80 hours a week and get $100.
I would piss in the punch.
Because
there
you
is
only
no punch
get
to
a
piss
percentage of what they made
now,
for that week.
Now, what I gotta say is working at the Valley Org. The Valley Org.
I'd piss in the punch.
Which at the I don't know if they are now, but at the time they were promoting themselves as like, we are the #1 org in the world. We're doing better. They won the birthday games, which for the people that don't know is like a series of things where like it's your statistics are better than everybody else, meaning you've made the most money anywhere. Now that week I got $500, and they were like the most #1 in the world, right? Like most successful ever.
Yeah.
Where are their millions of members?
Right.
If they're having the best week fucking ever and working 80 hours a week gets you $500,
right?
Like
that's,
how
you can't
how
live on
popular
that.
That is
really?
exactly a shit that made me like keep taking a step back. But every single time I challenged them,
slave labor is what it's called.
Now,
every time I challenged them, they kept telling me, "Oh, just be patient. We still haven't taken off yet. We're not even like fully staffed."
They just string you along, dude.
Yeah, that's
they
what
string
they kept
you
doing
along until either you quit or you conform.
That's exactly what they were doing. They kept stringing me along and my ex, and of course, the really fucked up part is we had 2 kids, 2 babies. That
now, do you have fear?
I'm like,
we
had
to
care
have
for
fear of that about that? I mean, is your
now I do. I have fear that. That's why I don't want to mention my name, because I have fear. Like, they want my kids. And the fucked up part is my ex is still convinced that they are good for her. So she's
still part of the church.
She's still, taking courses there. She's not working there anymore.
Taking courses. Does that mean she's part of the church?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
now, all right, so the church doesn't have what a normal church would be like Sunday service. You don't show up at the Church of Scientology every Sunday. What it is you get personalized classes or courses or stuff like that. So it's come whenever you want. So
come whenever you want. So
it
it's not how you come every Sunday.
It is and it isn't.
So wait a minute. They operate like what, 7 days a week?
7
days a week.
See, except for Christmas.
7 days a week.
Even on Christmas.
They have
even
a full
on
staff
Christmas.
at every location.
Yep.
7 days a week.
Yep. Exactly.
That's some creepy shit.
And
they are always open.
They're 7-Eleven.
Yep, they're always, just not 24 hours, but they are open every single day.
From what time to what time?
8:50 in the morning to 9:50 at night.
That's creepy as fuck.
Yep.
I'm blowing the bowl. I'm putting some Moxie on top. I got some bitchin' ass blueberry muffin, live resin batter. I'm gonna top my bowl with this shit. And this shit, this one bowl right here. Look at this. Look at this shit. I want you to sniff that. Sniff that. Smell that. Smell this.
Good.
Smell this. Live resin batter,
Smells
blueberry
good.
muffin, Moxie. I take this shit. Some people like to dab it. Me personally, I like to put it on top of my bowl and melt it in. It makes the bowl last for a really long fucking time. And I've already burned this bowl a few times.
So wait, this is...
It's okay. There's lots of different types of dabs. Are you familiar with the concept of dabs?
No.
Okay, dabs are kind of like hash times 10 for old school motherfuckers. Basically, you can consume these things a couple of different ways. You can put them on a hot plate and vaporize them, and when you vaporize them, it gives you an instant amount of consumption. I mean, serious high levels of THC.
What is the benefit of going through all that work and dabbing and all that shit when you can just throw some real weed in your pipe?
I agree with you, because I'm old school like that, which is why when you passed me this green
bowl,
when you passed me this green bowl, it made me put this slightly charred bowl to the side. Now, me personally, as an old school motherfucker, I like to take my batter, my lovely blueberry muffin Moxie batter. I love this shit. It's fucking awesome. It's fucking awesome. It's fucking awesome, man.
This is Moxie?
This shit. It's Moxie, man.
Now, I gotta say that I do smoke weed, but I I'm going to open this right now. I don't know what Moxie is.
There's nothing in there, dude. That's empty. You dumb motherfucker. There's only some shit in here.
I thought it was invisible weed.
No, that shit.
I was like, oh my god, you have invisible weed!
No, you're playing with it. You're playing with an empty fucking half gram, motherfucker.
My mind was blown for a second.
That's sauce. You're playing with empty half gram of sauce that is already loaded in another fucking thing.
All right, so what I'm going to play you now is the response from the Ono, Ross, and Carrie podcast.
Are you fucking serious? I had to listen to that shit before so that you could play it now and record it?
No, that's the power of editing.
The Church of Scientology denies many of the claims that Trevor made in this interview. So we sent them an itemized list of claims, including what Trevor describes as a sexual assault on his mother, that he was discouraged from listening to our show, that the Valley Org discriminates against people experiencing homelessness, and that the church sued him for back rent. And when the church responded, they focused mostly on this last point about the church suing him for back rent. And they pointed out that Trevor's lawsuit is between himself and a Scientologist rather than the church itself. And that although the issue of back rent was dropped, he was ultimately ordered by the court to move out by February 12th. And they did include the court document that verifies that much. So the church asked us to read their statement in full. And it says, "Dear Ms. Poppy, we have received your request. Here is our response. No Church of Scientology has ever sued Mr. Heasley as he claims. We did find a recent case against Mr. Heasley in which his landlord, Mr. William Atkins, filed an unlawful detainer action against Heasley for unpaid rent. On December 12, 2008, a stipulated judgment was entered in favor of Mr. Atkins, requiring Heasley to quit the premises by February 13, 2019. Mr. Atkins graciously agreed to forgive the months of unpaid back rent owed to him to be able to put this matter behind him. A copy of the judgment is enclosed. You and your listeners will see it shows that Mr. Heasley is not telling the truth about his lawsuit. He has similarly failed to support any of his other claims. The Church of Scientology of the Valley is an active contributing member of its community, opening its doors to host charity events and activities for people in its neighborhood. It is unfortunate that Mr. Heasley has decided to react the way he has to the kindness and generosity extended to him by Mr. Atkins and the church. We hope he is ultimately able to get his life in order. If you still decide to air your podcast in light of the above facts, we request that you include our response in full. Regards, the Media Relations Department." So in my response, I asked the church whether Trevor was told not to listen to our podcast, a question I had posed in my initial email, but that seemed to be overlooked here, and also whether the church allows its members to consume media that's critical of the church in general. And here is their follow-up response. "Dear Ms. Poppy, Scientologists are free-thinking people from all walks of life, and they are not told what they can or cannot do in life. You should know that Mr. Heasley has made threats to church members as well as provably false statements. For the true information on Scientology, I invite you to visit www.scientology.tv. Regards, Media Relations Department." Well, we'll let you make your own judgment about that. And if Scientologists really are welcome to listen to anything they want, then among the thousands of people who will listen to this in the next few months, there's sure to be some Scientologists, right? So contact us. We'd love to talk. Thanks for listening.
You fucking cocksucker.
All right, so now that we have heard the answer from the church,
We're going to hear it again.
I have a few comments. No, again, Paul, the power of editing. I'm going to add it later.
You're a cocksucker still.
So now that we have heard the official response to my claims from the church, one of my claims was that the gentleman that they named by name, Robin Alkins, took a picture of my 12-year-old daughter at the time at 6 a.m. in the morning while she slept with a dog between her legs. Of course, he claimed that he was taking a picture of the dog. When I asked him to show me a picture of my dog, he was unable to produce one. And when asked about what rule he was breaking, he said, I don't know because I haven't made one up yet. The other accusation was that
that was shady as shit too.
The dude Charles pulled his dick out in front of my mom and asked her if she wanted $40 to watch him masturbate. So yeah, that was an accusation. The other was abuse.
That
and
was what he did, really? He
Yeah.
pulled his junk out and was like, "Hey, you want?"
Yeah, exactly. I turned him into church and like, oh fuck it, we don't give a shit. I like the last communication I had with the church was with OSA member Kathy Morale. When I told her this, she honestly just looked me in the eye and said, "I don't care." And that's kind of why I'm doing these podcasts right now, is because they don't care, and we need to make them care. So their official response had nothing to do with those two allegations. They chose to ignore them again and concentrate mainly on the lawsuit where they say I didn't pay rent and Robin wants me out because he graciously gave me a place to live. What I'm going to do is tonight I am going to post a video on YouTube, and we're going to take a tour of the house that I was graciously allowed to live in.
How did you get
from the
footage?
site? Dude, I filmed it.
Oh, shit.
Like the video's already made. I just got to post it. Again, I'm thinking ahead to any of their responses, and I feel they deny something, I'm gonna prove it. So that video will be released on My Truth on Scientology YouTube, or you can email me if you need a link, mytruthonscientology@hotmail.com or gmail.com. But I want to get more into their response about. We're gonna set the sexual stuff aside and get more into where they said the church members are free thinking people and allowed to think, watch, and do whatever they want. I know for a fact that when I mentioned that I listened to the Ross and Carey show and that I had actually heard the name Leah Remini, I had to go through what they call PTS handling because I became a potential trouble source at that moment. Meaning I was connected to Leah Remini or Ross and Carey at some point. And in fact, they tried to blame a lot of my issues on the fact that I actually listened to Ross and Carey. But I'm going to get off of me for a moment because I know my experience. The audience that has listened to Ono, Ross, and Carey knows my experience. But we're going to talk to Tom Cruise, Crews, here for a second. And did you ever feel you were censored or asked to not watch something? Or do you think that you are actually free to do whatever you want to do?
No, I was not free because I did mention to them. Actually, this is what I told them. I told them that my family has been watching the Leah Remini show, and they keep telling me to pull my family out of there. And the church's response was, "Oh, that's a bunch of bullshit. You shouldn't be listening to that stuff. Don't even listen. They don't know what they're talking about. Don't even bother with it." And they just kept repeating, like, don't listen to that. Don't fall into that. Like, you don't want to hear any of that stuff.
Were you ever threatened like a punishment because you're going to listen to it?
I wasn't, because I told them, like, oh, no, I don't want to listen to that stuff. I mean, I know that, of course, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, like, fuck you, I'm going to listen to it.
But I remember one time when I was working with you, actually, and I don't mean to throw you under the bus or anything, but I had mentioned to you that I had listened to Leah Remini, and you were like, shh, don't fucking tell anybody. Don't even mention it. Why was that? Like, obviously, somebody either threatened or there was some fear of watching what they call black PR.
It wasn't much of a threat. It was just like, I sensed that they really frown on anybody listening to anything negative about the church. So they don't want you to listen to any of it. They don't want you to look it up or anything. They just want you to listen to what they have to say.
Okay, so in your opinion, them saying Scientologists are free to do whatever they want to do, listen to whatever they want to listen to. Like if a Scientologist wanted to watch the Leah Remini show, no problem?
No,
or do you think it'd be a problem?
It would be a huge problem.
Okay, so in your opinion, they were not telling the truth there?
Exactly.
All right. So another thing I want to get into is the non-payment of rent. Yes, I did originally agree to pay $950 a month for 2 bedrooms at that house. When we got there, it was reduced to 1 bedroom because there was another Scientologist moving in. He was only supposed to be there for like a few weeks or so. Now, he ended up being there for about 6 months. So I ended up with 1 room, same price. The room was infested with bed bugs. There was mold. I mean, what I'm going to do is I'm going to release a video to the YouTube channel so that you can see it for yourself. And the non-payment of rent, yes, I did do a discount rent because I lost my job over the bugs. You know, I got bit a lot. I got sick from the mold. And they ended up firing me because what they said is I was unable to do my job anymore. Now, keep in mind, this is a place that they had placed me at. And when I complained is when I got let go. Now, again, I did reduce the rent because of the conditions. I was still paying $250 a month, which Mr. Alkins accepted. Now, the day of the court... All right, so I'm obviously telling a very boring story because Paul is over here snoring, but we're going to go ahead and continue. All right, so when we got to the court, now
That's fucking hilarious.
I'm going to release...
I'm having to sleep over here.
Dude, you were snoring. Like you were still part of the show, even though you were snoring.
Was I snoring for real? Like,
Yeah,
loud?
dude. Absolutely.
Like
so,
loud and shit, like... For real? Awesome, dude.
You'll be able to...
Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah, dude.
So I'm going to release the court documents, which prove that Robin had asked for it was almost like $16,000. And I was out in like 3 days, if I remember, 3 or 6 days. Now I ended up getting that busted down to 0, and about 2.5 months still remaining in the house. So I don't understand how they consider that a win on Alkin's part. But what I will say is that when I presented the evidence, which I'll be releasing online, which is exactly what's already online, the confession of Robin and Charles and the conditions of the house, I showed that to his female attorney. And the attorney pulled me aside and said, okay, look, this is what we're going to do. We're going to tell him that if he lets you have everything that you want, you will not sue him for any past instance. And then I went, no, I would rather sue him. And she said, listen to what I'm saying very carefully. I'm not saying you cannot file a criminal charge or sue him from anything that happens from this day on. I got his attorney on my side. His attorney helped me. And as far as the church not suing me, you know what? Maybe that's correct. But what you have to understand is that the Church of Scientology has a habit of taking credit where credit's not due. I remember this one time there was a building being constructed across the street. And one of the Sea Org members had mentioned to me that the reason they were building the building was because the Scientology building was being built. And that Scientology buildings, they improve neighborhoods. I also remember one time that Tom Cruise was with me. I don't know, were you helping me load the truck when we went up to give the water to the firefighters?
No,
yeah, I was with you.
All right, so I remember like 5 Sea Org members coming up to me and explaining to me how awesome they were because they had put this whole thing together. And like, they just have this way of taking credit for shit that they didn't do. I mean, do you find that that's true?
Yeah, that's true.
All right, so that is my official response to the church's response. Now, I'm also going to put it out here that if David Miscavige or any church member who is in good standing or bad standing wants to get a hold of me and wants to have a seat next to us for our next podcast, you can go ahead and get a hold of us at mytruthonscientology@hotmail.com. I'm also available at monkeythemonkey@hotmail.com. ChimpanityFilms@hotmail.com, or you can do Trevor W. He's actually, you know what? Don't do that because I don't have that account. So just do mytruthonscientology.com if you would like to further this conversation on Scientology. Until then, I am Trevor. This is Paul. Paul is asleep.
I'm tired, motherfucker. I got
And Tom Cruise says,
motherfucker.
Motherfucker.
all right, motherfucker. Always leave him wanting. Yep.
Puffing on that robot dick.
Are you recording?
Nope.
He's
Yep.
a douche flute cowboy.
He's recording.
Of course he is. He's a
Douche.
douche flute cowboy. He's always recording.
Douche.
No, I just thought we were onto a theme song.
You're a douche flute cowboy.